Right, so the president made no indication as to who will be the next leader of Venezuela aside from the United States, claiming that Rubio will run the country along with Pete Hegseth. He made no mention of Edmundo Gonzalez, who is considered to be the rightful winner of the 2024 Venezuelan election, and he also sidelined Maria Machado, the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, claiming that she is not competent for the role. There's also no consistent behavior towards caring about the rights and liberties of Venezuelans. For instance, when it comes to temporary protected status for Venezuelans who are trying to flee Maduro's rule, who came to the United States, the Trump administration has removed TPS for over 600,000 Venezuelans. And bear in mind that there's about 750,000 of them who are foreign-born living in the United States right now. There's also the 252 Venezuelans who were seeking asylum in the U.S. who were unlawfully sent to CICOT in El Salvador with no due process or even access to legal counsel, who were submitted to inhumane conditions and torturing for over 4 months. There's also the at least 115 people who were killed in airstrikes on boats. That was done under the guise of protecting against narco-terrorism, but there was no proof of that. There was no proof of them even heading towards the United States with the drugs that they said that they had, and there was no due process for this. The narrative of fighting the war on drugs also falls apart if you consider the pardoning of Juan Orlando Hernandez on December 1st, 2025, who was convicted specifically for drug trafficking and money laundering. As for last night, the New York Times is reporting that at least 40 Venezuelans were killed in the airstrikes. It's unclear as to how many of those were military or civilians, but one notable example is an 80-year-old woman who was killed in an airstrike on a 3-story residential building. Taking all of this into consideration, there is no indication nor consistent pattern of behavior that indicates that the current administration is prioritizing the liberties of Venezuelans, attempting to fight the war on drugs, and attempting to restore democracy to Venezuela, especially given the fact that Edmundo Gonzalez Urrutia, who was considered the rightful winner of the 2024 election, was not mentioned as the next successor or to be reinstated by any means by the current administration. No, I don't like Maduro. I don't like how corrupt he is and how he centralizes authority around himself, but I also don't like how the United States' past actions has clearly indicated that they don't care about the personal liberties of Venezuelans. What concerns me is how explicitly they care about oil interests for the United States. The narrative is also incredibly toxic. You're criticized as a lover of dictators for having caution about the United States conducting an operation which it did not have the authority to do, which could be considered a war crime or an act of terrorism. But in general, the concern is that the United States has explicitly said that this is for the interest of oil and gas companies, and they are not interested in reinstating the elected winner of the election of 2024. So, what happens to Venezuelans next? That's what concerns me so much.